With its buttery shortbread base, a velvety salted caramel center, and a crisp dark chocolate snap, this is the ultimate Millionaire shortbread, and today I'm showing you how to make every layer. First, we start with the shortbread base. Into a stand mixer bowl, add in plain flour, fine semolina, caster sugar, sea salt, and cold cubed unsalted butter. Fit the mixer with a paddle attachment and start mixing on a low speed. As the butter begins to break down, you can increase the speed and stop mixing as soon as the dough has formed. Over mixing is going to cause the gluten to develop. This is going to result in a tough, dense, greasy biscuit. Next, into a lined 9-inch square tin, decant your shortbread dough. Begin to press the dough into the tin, pushing the dough towards the corners and the sides to cover the entire base of the tin, keeping it as even and level as possible. Then, using an offset spatula, run it across the surface of the dough. This will help smooth and level the dough, making sure we've got an even thickness across the entire base of the pan. This might be a little bit tough at the beginning while the surface is still quite rough. As it begins to soften and smoothen, it will get easier to spread and level. Place the tray into the fridge for 30 minutes for the dough to set firm. This is a good time to preheat your oven to 170 degrees Celsius or 338 degrees Fahrenheit. After the dough is chilled, prick the surface with a fork. This will prevent any air bubbles during the bake. Place the tray into the oven for 12 to 15 minutes until the shortbread is baked to a light golden crisp. Set this aside to cool, and while this cools, we're going to make our caramel. The first step to making our caramel is heating the cream. Add cream to a saucepan and simply bring to a boil. Once the cream begins to boil, cover with the lid and set to the side. Keeping it covered will help retain the heat. Next, we move on to the dry caramel. Into a new, clean, dry pan on a low to medium heat, add in about a quarter of your sugar. Give the pan a gentle shake to level out the sugar and leave it untouched until it begins to melt. This will take a few minutes, but do not walk away from the pan at this stage. Keep an eye on it at all times. As you see the caramel start to melt, with a spoon, bring the sugar from the outside in, working your way around the pan and keeping this movement going until all the sugar has dissolved into a light golden color. Then add a small amount of your remaining sugar, continuing to move the sugar from the outside in until it all dissolves, repeating this entire process until all the sugar has been added to the pan and forms a deep amber caramel. Once the caramel is made, we're going to add in the heated cream, adding a little bit at a time and mixing vigorously until fully combined before adding more. If we added cold cream, we would completely seize the sugar. This would take a lot longer to dissolve back in, and most of the time a lot of the caramel stays stuck in the base of the pan. Once all the cream is added in, we bring the caramel back up to 115 degrees Celsius. At this temperature, we guarantee the caramel will stay firm with a soft, chewy consistency. Finally, we mix in cold unsalted butter until fully emulsified, before adding in the flaky sea salt and stirring until fully dissolved. Then, over the cooled shortbread base, immediately pour your hot caramel. While hot, the caramel will naturally self-level, saving you the trouble of smoothing it out manually. Give the pan a few gentle taps on the counter to pop any air bubbles. And if you have a blowtorch, you can run it across the surface to help eliminate any more bubbles. Leave the caramel to set at room temperature for 1 to 2 hours, or you can speed up the process by placing it in the fridge. Once the caramel is set, we can go ahead and prepare the chocolate coating. Into a microwave safe bowl, add in your dark chocolate and unsalted butter. Melt in the microwave in 30-second increments, giving the chocolate a stir between each burst until the chocolate is glossy and pourable. Pour the melted chocolate directly into the pan, letting it pool over the caramel. Then, using the back of a spoon, gently guide the chocolate towards the corners until the chocolate has coated the entire surface. Using the back of a spoon will give you more of a rustic finish. For a more even professional finish, run a hot offset palette knife across the surface to smooth and level the chocolate. While the chocolate is still wet, we're going to elevate the flavour profile by finishing with some flaky sea salt The salt cuts through the intense sweetness of the caramel and the richness of the chocolate, making every single bite perfectly balanced. Sprinkle the flakes from a height to ensure an even distribution across the whole tray. Once you're happy with the coverage, resist the urge to cut it immediately. Place the tin in a cool spot to let the chocolate set slowly. This ensures a clean snap when you finally go in with your knife. I hope you enjoyed this bake. If you did, please like and subscribe for more. Drop me a comment if you have any questions or if there's anything else you would like to see. And as always, the link for the full recipe and for all the equipment I have used will be in the description box below. Until next time, happy baking.